All right, let's try another problem. Remember again, our key points. You want to isolate the root, raise both sides to the reciprocal power, being careful for pluses and minuses if the denominator is an even number, and then solve and we'll check for extraneous solutions. So first off, let's go ahead and solve and check. So first off, we want to isolate the root. So I could rewrite this if I wanted to. I could write this as 11x plus 3 to the 1/2 minus 2x equals 0. It doesn't matter. Either way, whichever one you like better. We'll stick with this one. So let's isolate the root. We'll add 2x to both sides. So we'll get the square root of 11x plus 3 equals 2x. Now we're ready to raise both sides to the reciprocal root. So you can see the reciprocal, this is a 1/2 power. So the opposite of square rooting something is just squaring it. So we're going to square both sides. Square both sides. And when you square both sides, this is where sometimes the extraneous solutions can sneak in there. So we got to watch out and check for those. So the square root of 11x plus 3 squared is just going to become 11x plus 3 equals. Now remember, you don't need to add plus or minus when you square both sides, only when you square roots. So you do not need plus or minus here. 2x squared, now be careful, 2x squared is just 2x times 2x. A lot of people forget this. It's not 2x squared, it's 2 times 2, 4x squared. All right, now we need to solve this. It looks like it's not a linear with one solution. This looks like it's a quadratic with two different solutions. So I can either factor it or go for the quadratic formula. Let's go for the factoring first. So we'd like to keep this positive, so let's move the other guys over here. So let's subtract 11x from both sides, and then we'll subtract 3 from both sides. We'll subtract 11x and subtract 3 from both sides, because we want to get 0 over here to factor it. And of course, if this doesn't work, we can do the quadratic formula. But let's go ahead and try to factor this. Remember, our a times c goes at the top, so 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Our b goes at the bottom, negative 11. Two numbers that multiply to be negative 12 add up to negative 11. That looks like negative 12 and positive 1, right? Multiplies and then adds up. All right, now remember, since a is not 1, we can't just use these numbers. We got to rewrite it and split it. So let's go ahead and do that. 4x squared. And remember, I'm going to rewrite using these two numbers. I'll use the orange pen for that. Minus 12x plus 1x minus 3. So we rewrite it. Then we split it down the middle. Take the GCF of just this side. So that's going to be 4x. 4x, what's left over? That's x minus 3. We take the GCF, then copy this part over. X minus 3, and then fill in this blank right here. What does this need to get to this? That's just a 1. So our two factors are 4x plus 1 times x minus 3 equals 0. So it did factor, and by the zero product property, we can just set them both equal to 0 and solve. So let me just set them both equal to 0. So I'm just going to flip it around because I like having the variables over here. 4x plus 1 equals 0, and also x minus 3 equals 0. So here we subtract 1 from both sides. 4x equals negative 1. X equals negative 1/4. And over here, of course, we just add 3 on both sides, so x equals 3. So it looks like we have two solutions. Let's go ahead and check these. Let's check the 3 first. Then we'll check negative 1/4. All right, let's go back to the beginning here. We're going to check this 3. So let's plug in a 3. I'm going to be kind of down here. So square root of 11 times 3. 11 times 3 plus 3 minus 2 times 3. Does that equal 0? All right, so that's going to be 33 plus 3. 33 plus 3, so square root of 36 minus 6. Does that equal 0? That's 6 minus 6. That does indeed equal 0. So 3 looks like it is good. 3 is good to go. All right, let's try negative 1/4. Negative 1/4. So let's try that one here. Square root of 11 times negative 1/4 plus 3 minus 2 times negative 1/4. Does that equal 0? All right, so this one's a little bit more fraction work. That's okay. So we're going to negative 11 over 4 here. Right? 11 times, you can write this 11 over 1. 11 over 1, so just multiply, you get negative 11 over 1 times 4, 4. Plus, we'll write that as 3 over 1 for now, so we can see it a little bit easier. Minus, so we have a negative times a negative, so actually going to be a plus. 2/4, and we'll fix that. Does that equal 0? Okay, we can see here we need to make this a common denominator, so this needs to be multiplied by 4 over 4. So we're not changing anything. That's an equivalent form of 1. So we're going to get the square root of negative 11 over 4 plus 3 times 4 is 12 over 4 plus, that's going to be 1/2. Does that equal 0? Okay, we add these up. 12 minus 11, so the square root of 1/4 plus 1/2. Does that equal 0? Well, the square root of 1/4, what times itself gives me 1/4? That's just 1/2. Right? You can check that out. Right? 1/2 times 1/2, multiply 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, so that's why the square root of 1/4 is 1/2, plus 1/2, does that equal 0? It does not. It does not. That gives you 1, right? 1 does not equal 0. So we know that negative 1/4 is an extraneous solution. So 3 is our solution, negative 1/4 is extraneous.